Right, hi guys and girls and men and women and everybody. Yeah, this is the animation assets, and I thought that it would be really cool to just go through some of them, not all of them, and just show you what you guys are able to use and utilize and how to apply this to your Dragon rig or your Dragon animation. And for those of you that have just bought the rig, you can add this pack and add it to your animation scenes. And for those of you that have done the Dragon course, it's always good to have these assets ready for anything else that you decide to do later. So let's get started. So first of all, we load in the Dragon. So you'll go File, Create Reference, load in the Dragon, and then you need to head over to, this is just for some of you that don't know, there's a website called studiolibrary.com. Don't get scared, it's just a very awesome plugin for Maya. It's called Studio Library. You download it and you drag and drop from that folder into Maya. That's it. Thank you to Studio Library for creating this tool. I've been using it for the last 10 years and it is just amazing. It's still going, still fantastic, and yeah, couldn't do without it. So once you've got that, you then have a shelf. So you'll drag it into Maya, make sure you're on your own sort of shelf, create a Studio Library shelf, and then click this button and open it up. And this is the tricky part. So you'll probably have nothing here, and then it'll ask you where you want to point your path to. So download the assets folder that you get with the course. And then on the top right, you just check your settings and put in the path to that folder. Make sure that the path is on if you do have an SSD drive, it's probably best to put it on there. And yeah, just keep it nice and tidy. Don't have lots of folders inside folders, because there's sometimes a bug where it just won't pick up the pictures. It only goes, I think, 3 or 4 folders down. Anyway, once you've loaded that in, if you hover over, you'll see all your animation assets that you've got. And just make sure your Maya is set to 30 frames per second. And there's a handy T-pose down here, a tail animation, tongue animation, frills, wiggly, jiggly legs, nose, and all this sort of stuff. So there's also, you notice there's a run cycle. So the other day I animated a run cycle just to test it. And it is there for you guys to try out. I'll try and load it just now. So let me just explain how to quickly load something on. So let's go to the face and we just do an easy one. Let's select the nose, go to frame 1. So right click, select content. Make sure you selected the dragon if I'm using from selection. Then 1 to 60, and option is to replace everything. So I'm going to press apply and it'll just insert that animation onto the dragon, just like that, and it cycles. So if it isn't cycling, you can always just cycle the animation yourselves. So that would be the nose, for example. We can do this fat jiggle. This is pretty cool. Just add that in. And here we have this jiggly fat. Bloop, bloop. Really nice fleshy feel. And let me show you some frill stuff. So let's say we have, that's windy frills for flying. So let's say we have this frills rotate left, right. Let's replace all. Okay, now that's loaded it onto the frills themselves. So those controllers all have been manually animated by myself, painstakingly slowly, so that you guys get this really cool piece of animation. You're welcome. And then if you wanted to combine that with a neck jiggle, so neck wobble, this one would be it's driven from the head first. So it starts from the head, so we drive from the head itself. Sorry, so you'd select that one and you can insert it. So this is actually different controllers than the frills, so you don't have to worry about. You see if I select them, that they don't have keys on them, so I can just insert them. And then you get the neck wobble plus the frills on top. So you get this really nice jiggle. And if you open up the graph editor, you can see the animation curve with an offset, but because the frills are starting to rotate at the same time as the neck, there isn't really an overlap. So it would be nice then to just drive the neck first. So you drive the neck by offsetting it earlier. The neck goes first and then the frills follow later. You see? And then you get a much more fleshy bit of animation. Plump. That's way too much of an offset, but let's see, just like maybe 2 or 3 frames is kind of nice. And yeah, so you just combine a couple of these assets together and off you go, you know. Really nice stuff, if I don't say so myself. Cool. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I don't need to go through everything. There's really a lot of assets that you can use, and yeah, I mean, what else can I say? If you wanted to delete something, you'd select them, double click it, delete it. With my hotkey setup, you've got the mouth jiggle for the roar. You've got some finger offsets that you can use. These are cool for when the dragon lands. You can just apply them to sort of one or two of the fingers. On the wings, it's straightforward. Select that content, insert it or apply it, and then you get some some offset already pre-animated into the wing. You can have this when the dragon lands on the ground or walks, and you can have this jiggle. What you'd do though is you would you'd probably add all of these things to animation layers. So you'd go add it to a layer, rename it obviously. Let me just delete that one. And you insert it on a layer. Always insert it, don't replace anything, and then you can just tone that layer weight down. And you can have it just sitting really subtly on a finger or on, whatever. Just have it there on a finger or all the fingers or the thumb, whatever you want. Okay, and then we've got the flight cycles. These are cool. So you got the basic flight cycle there, much to everyone's request. A lot of requests just to have the flight cycle as an asset. And I thought, well, you guys can have them all as assets. And yeah. So the flight cycle basic, there it is, running at 60 frames. I think it's 60 frames. And at frame 60, the next cycle can begin. So you could add a couple of these together. You can fly left, fly right, glide, go into a glide, and you just add them as assets next to each other. So you say, for example, this flight cycle climb, I want to just add it to thing, but I'm not going to replace all. I'm going to insert it from that frame 60, current time. And from 60 there, I would then have the flight cycle, and then it goes into this climb. So you're flying normally, and then it changes itself and goes into the climb. And of course, you just animate the dragon going up as it climbs. Pretty straightforward. Boom. And then it'll come back eventually to the main cycle, which is the same as frame 1. Exactly the same frame. Awesome. Now, that's there. That's cool. We've got the walk cycle and the run cycle. Yeah, let me just select this and just delete it. T-pose back. Let me show you what the run cycle looks like. It's really funny. I've never animated a dragon running anywhere, but so is the way. Yeah, let's load that in. Okay, and there it is. So there's your run cycle. It's only 40 frames, I think. It's a 40 frame cycle. But there it is. All pre-animated for you. And yeah, you don't have to do anything. Have it running around your scene or whatever you want to do with it. It's not. It's up to you. Be creative. Alright, and then last but not least is the infamous landing shot. So now guys, with the landing shot, please just be aware of one thing, and that is that this is an animated asset from Sophoria Studios, my main company. I put it in here because, you know, I love that you guys love to animate stuff, but please, if you're going to ever use the Dragon landing, you must not claim that you animated this yourself. Okay, I don't want to get into any kind of trouble or anything with students, you know, animating, just popping this on their demo reels and then applying for a company, and then you know, suddenly it doesn't work out. And also just remember that this has been animated already, so we have it animated on YouTube. It's got 60,000 views, and yeah, this is the actual animation there, all time stamped and everything. So, and it's what our main dragon is based around as well, this animation. But the purpose of me allowing you guys to use it is that I thought it would be really great reference. There's a lot of animators that are struggling with landing. It's what I found the hardest thing to animate, flying into landing. And while I load it, I just wanted to say, yeah, it's super difficult. You got 700 controllers on there, and it's just it's a lot of things going on. Wings, massive weight, tail, head, overlap on the chest, wings, fingers, switching from flight mode into ground mode, constraints, and a whole bunch of things going on. So it's overwhelming. And yeah, I mean, for the place it does land, actually, there's I think it's 300 frames, 250 frames. It does land on a little rock, which I just managed to quickly, before this, I quickly modeled just a little rock using the sculpt tool from a plane, and there it is. Yeah, so nice for you guys to have reference of it, but as I mentioned before, please don't claim that in your animation demo reels or whatever you use this for, that you animated it. It's only just for your own benefit, really. I'm not so bothered by too much of that stuff, but I don't want you guys to get into any trouble later on. Okay, cool. Use it for guidance and for reference as much as you can. Alright guys, take it easy. I hope you enjoy the pack, and yeah, well, hopefully you guys join the course, and we'll see you in the upcoming Dragon course in the near future.